Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, I got a little mystery that I need to solve today. I'm not really sure what exactly is going on, but last couple weeks we've had a little bit of rain here, and I've noticed that there's an issue in the front yard that happens that I need to try and figure out what's happening and what I can do to fix it. Let me explain to you what's going on. This is an area right in the front of the house where one of the major rain gutter downspouts is. It basically connects a big chunk of the roof and it feeds down this downspout right here and into the ground. And I don't know exactly where that goes. And when you have this much water coming through here, this is a major downspout on the house, and there's a lot of water that comes down here, especially when it rains hard. And I don't know where the outlet of this thing is, and it's clear that there's either some sort of a plug in there where it's not letting water out, and as a result it's backing up into the downspout, and actually water ends up just pouring off the roof here, and it's doing some kind of damage down here, and I want to try to figure out what's going on. Now, I was looking in to try and figure out what this thing was, and specifically how this thing down here goes. I was thinking it might be something called a weeping tile. You may wonder how I learned how to do so many of the things I've learned to do around this house. I used to watch a lot of home improvement shows, and I kept hearing them talk about weeping tiles. And it's had something to do with dealing with getting rid of water. Now, initially I thought that's what this was. And what an weeping tile is, it's a trench that's cut around the house, and then some plumbing that's designed to kind of leak water into the ground and channel it away. That's what I thought it was initially here, and so that's what I thought this was. But there obviously isn't enough outlet for this to deal with the amount of water that's going in. Now, I've done a little bit more research on it, because like I said, all I knew is what I saw on the TV show. And actually it looks like weeping tiles aren't exactly used for this. It's used for dealing with groundwater and channeling it away. So there needs to be some sort of outlet for that, but it isn't. But whatever it is, I don't know where that outlet is. You'd think that it would go down to the street and maybe exit out there, but I don't see any place that could be happening. But whatever the issue is, this isn't cutting it. So I got to dig into this and try and figure out what's causing this thing to back up. I'm not sure entirely it's backing up anyway, because I think if water were backing all the way up the drain pipe here, water would also be squirting out of here, which it isn't. So there may just be a simple obstruction up top, and I'm going to go up on the roof and try and figure that out. I also know that there's like some sticks and twigs and stuff that have accumulated up there anyway, so I'm going to clean that out. And I think what I'm going to do is put a garden hose down there and see if I can figure out where the problem is, because then I'll at least be able to say, oh yeah, it's backing up here, and maybe we can come up with something else here. I'm halfway thinking what I can do is take this thing off, run a new one, run it just along the side of the house and out there, and have the water just output into the yard somewhere out into the garden, because whenever it rains, this whole area floods in here, and eventually that's going to cause problems, because it'll eventually undermine the foundation of the house, and then that's going to lead to really expensive problems. So I want to try and deal with that today. Now I want to get up on the roof and kind of examine what's going on there. So I got my ladder out here, and before I got up on the roof I kind of noticed this little dude. And these things are no fun. These things are all over Texas. And turns out a couple days ago, on my last weekend, there was one of them that had built a nest, well, a couple of them that built a nest under the eave of my swimming pool. And when I was draining the water after the rainstorm last week, I got a little too close to it, and a couple of these things stung me. So that hurts when these things get you. So when I'm seeing them right now, I'm trying to eradicate the nest. So I'm going to destroy that nest first and tear that thing down before I get up there and have any more close encounters with these things, because these things hurt. Alright, I'm up on the roof now, and as I suspected, I was going to have to do a little bit of cleanup here. I've got a little debris that's kind of accumulated in kind of the central area that kind of goes down to this rain spout. So this may actually be a big part of the problem. So I'm going to clean this up and get it out of the way and I also got some kind of decent sized branches that have accumulated up here. So we're going to get up here and get all that out of here. And then we're going to come up with your garden hose and see if there's a bigger problem than just that. So the truth is, this is kind of a miserable time to be up on the roof. But when you have an issue in the summer, you really have two choices. You're either up here when it's like 1,000 degrees out, which is what it is right now, or you come up here in the rain and risk doing a Clark Griswold off the roof. So, you know, the choice is clear. I just got to muscle through it. Now I've succeeded in kind of cleaning up the area around the gutter a little bit, and I'm hoping maybe that's all that'll have to happen. I do want to run a little bit of water through there, and let's see if we can declare that this problem is solved. I'm also thinking I might have to do a little bit of waterproofing in there. I think the rain gutters up here aren't 100% waterproof on the edges, and so water tends to leak out the side. But it's very possible that I've already solved the problem here, and all I got to do is go back in now and cool off. So let's run a little water on here and let's see what happens. So as you can see, this area looks a lot better now. I got all the stuff off the surface, and there's actually a little bit that's accumulated inside. You know, this thing's got the leaf guards on the front here, like I put on the one that I installed on the patio cover in the back. And I think that's part of what was going on, is maybe the leaf waste accumulated up here and just kind of prevented the water from working its way into the drain. I'm hoping that's all it is, but we'll find out in a minute. Alright, so I pulled back the leaf guard a little bit, and I do seem to have a bit of an obstruction on the downspout. That may be from the water I ran through here, but I'm going to flush this all through before we reconnect everything up, and let's just verify that that's what's really going on. I've also disconnected the downspout at the bottom where it goes into that plumbing that goes into the ground, so it'll just all flow through and onto the ground out there, and then we can reconnect that up at a later point once we get everything else working. Alright, so I've succeeded in flushing all of the solid stuff out of the rain gutter all the way down along here and ultimately into the downspout right there. So I'm hoping that's going to solve the problem. I still want to verify that drain down below there actually goes somewhere and does something, because if that's getting plugged up, then we're still going to have an issue. But I think we're kind of done up here for the most part. I do think while I'm up here, I'm going to trim off some of the branches that are hanging over the roof here, because hopefully that'll keep these big giant pecans from falling off the roof and landing on the roof at the middle of the night when I'm trying to sleep, or early in the morning when the squirrels decide it's feeding time. Alright, so I'm back down off the roof now. As I said, I kind of disconnected the downspout a little bit, and I've just got the garden hose running into this thing. Very least, maybe I can figure out where it's going. At worst case scenario, I'll be able to verify that it's not backed up and that it's capable of draining water out of here. Like I said, I have no idea where this comes out, and I can't imagine the way that it rains here sometimes that there's going to be that much water flow that can go down there and not have to go somewhere and not back up somewhere. But like I said, we're going to let this run for a few minutes, and we'll see if that backs up. It doesn't appear to be. It seems that the water is flowing pretty well in there, so maybe I can just reconnect this up, and hopefully maybe I've solved my problem. So anyway, I'll catch up with you in a few minutes, and we'll see what we find. Alright, the water's been running now for about 5 minutes, and I think I just solved the mystery of where does the water go. Let's go look. Turns out there's this funky little valve right out here, probably about 15 feet away from that. So obviously they tunneled under the ground to this location here, and when the water starts pouring into there, it comes out here. So that's actually a perfect solution, because at this point the yard slopes out either towards the neighbor's yard where they have an adequate water runoff area, or out to the street. So that's good. I think we got this problem solved. I'm going to button this all up, and I think we're done for the day. Alright, so I got this thing all back together. I'm pretty sure I've resolved this issue now, because it definitely seems that the only real problem we had here was that some of the debris had gotten through the leaf guard and just clogged up the drain in there. So sounds to me like that's just going to have to be one of my regular maintenance things I do in this house. I have just to get up there, and it might not have even been the material that was in the rain gutter, but just all the stuff that accumulated on top of the leaf guard plugged up the water and prevented it from draining into the rain gutter, and instead just kind of went around it and came off the roof. So I think we got that wrapped up. I am going to go in now and cool off because I am sweating like a pig. Probably a good time to hop in the pool, right? So I think that's all that I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.